What's your jacket made out of?
I think this one's leather. Zach Beta gave this to me right before the first mic tonight. So.
Goodness gracious, look at this stylish man in his leather jacket given to us by a fucking god. Alright, that's basically Jacob's ladder, or Jacob's leather, fuck. It's William Wheeler, everybody!
Hey, what's up, everybody? That's a speaker. That's not a chair. This is a chair. All right. Everyone, I like to read a lot of Greek mythology, and I firmly believe Zeus was wasn't the only one that had a lot of sex. Poseidon had a lot of sex. He always got his dick wet, right? Yeah. Comedy. All right. Right, guys, I want you to know that this set is probably going to be really jarring. So if you have any fruit, pickles, or fetuses, bring them up to me during or after the set, okay? Now, having said that, I think when hitmen go to karaoke, I think their chosen song is always Good Riddance by Green Day. Because they don't just sing at karaoke. That's not their only practice singing that song. They are also practicing when they're holding that sniper rifle, and they're like, I hope you had the time of your life. You know? You don't know. Or do you know? Are you hiding something, Nolan? Okay. I won't say anything. But I think I was having a philosophical debate with someone. Are hitmen serial killers? I don't think so, personally, because the only thing that separates a hitman from a serial killer is money. Because you're capable of something, it doesn't mean necessarily like to do it, right? To them it's work. Like, no one wants to work at McDonald's every day, but you gotta pay the bill somehow, You don't like your neighbor, but you gotta get that new roof, right? Well, that's more personal, that's not really business. Unless you can strongly suggest, like, hey man, I'm gonna slide you some money so you can sell it back to me so I can write this off of my not taxes, right? No, they're all winners, guys, okay? All right. Anyway, we're gonna go back in time. We're gonna try to work out some of these classics from like back in the day, see if I can rework some of them. Do you guys remember when Dr. Seuss got in trouble because they had like some racist Dr. Seuss books or some shit like 2-3 years ago?
Dr. Seuss was a racist?
Yeah. Well, I think they, so one of the books, it's not necessarily the American version of the Dr. Seuss books. I think it was like the Italian version, because if you look in Cat in the Hat, the Italian version of Cat in the Hat doesn't have thing one and thing two. They had bada bing and bada boom. Anyway. I grew up with a racist dad and a drunk mom, and my biggest question to myself was, which one's my favorite? And I came to the conclusion that it's my racist dad because, at least he could pay the bills. Mom, your love doesn't keep me warm at night. Blankets keep me warm at night. Paying the heating bill keeps me warm at night, not your love. And then she'll shoot back, well, Will, you should tell your mom that you love her. Yeah, I should change the oil in my car every 3 months too. You don't see me doing that shit. Or every 5,000 months. Good old stuff. But like my dad, he had like old school racism. Like this was like a real story that happened to me. I was hanging out playing in the street. I'm Hispanic. I had a white friend growing up in my neighborhood. I had a black friend. I had an Asian friend, and we were all hanging out playing in the street. My dad, with his old school racism, pops the window up. And he looks out the window and he's like, "Hey, look, it's the United Nations," and he goes back inside the house. And I was like, "Thanks, Dad. You just put an embargo on all my Pokemon cards. Great, thanks." But I always, when I grew up, I had to deal with it. Eventually you can't run away from it. Sooner or later you have to deal with it. So he always wanted me to date Hispanic women, but I always, every time the question comes up, "Hey, Will, you dating anyone?" I always jab him with the same answer. I'm like, and you see, because I don't understand my dad's racism. He's racist against people for things that happened before his time period. Like, he doesn't like the Japanese for the things they did in World War II. It's like, dude, that was before your time. Your racism doesn't make sense. Not that it's supposed to make sense, but it doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? And so like every time he asks me like, well, what, like, are you dating anyone? I give him the same answer every time. Yeah, Dad, dating a Japanese woman. And I like slither to him like a horror movie, because to him it is a horror movie. I'm slithering, I'm going over chairs and tables, and I'm like, yeah, dating a Japanese woman, Dad. You want to know why? And he's like getting creeped out, and like, because dating a Japanese woman gives me an opportunity to drop some pearl in her harbor. Yeah, he gave me the same look, Millen. Shocked. It was horrible to him. And then he stopped asking me that question, and I'm gonna stop telling jokes because that's been the end of my time. I've been William Wheeler. Give it up for your host, Jake Bullmore, everybody.
My man William Wheeler is trying to break into the Japanese forest. Give it up for him. Japanese horror movies are actually fucking terrifying. I will, no me goes nightmares, everybody. Your next comedian.